resource. It is often mentioned in forums like this that Saudi Arabia alone has a solar potential to supply all the energy needs of the world. As you see, the Asian economies are indeed advantaged when it comes to clean energy. However, to make the case for private investment in the sector, one would have to consider the macroeconomic picture. And fortunately, the picture looks very encouraging as well. Recent developments have made it clear that Asian economies can maintain high growth rates despite the volatility in Western financial markets. Asia now accounts for more than 1/3 of the world trade. And what is interesting is that the region is becoming increasingly less dependent on Western economies, which would limit the impact on the region in the case of economic slowdown in the West. Indeed, recent double-digit growth rates have been fueled by an export boom that, as of December 2007, was composed of more than 50% intra-regional trade. The banking system in the region has also demonstrated a high degree of resilience to shocks in other markets. It is clear by now that the U.S. subprime fiasco has had little effect on Asia's financial sector. Conservative banking practices, both private and public, adopted across the countries in the region post the 1997 economic crisis, have thus far insulated the Asian financial system from the fallout of the U.S. subprime crisis. It is this stable and strong macroeconomic environment that makes Asia today a vibrant and attractive destination for global investors. Clean energy is a prime growth industry, and it's a choice to be in it or not. It offers investors with various risk appetites opportunities ranging from electricity production with steady income backed by sovereign takeoff agreements to venture capital startups that may include amongst them the future Microsofts of the industry. The attractive returns in clean energy have given rise to private equity funds targeting such opportunities. The Asian Development Bank and the Islamic Development Bank are two large multilaterals supporting such funds and positioning themselves to capture the potential of this industry in emerging markets. The GCC economies are now enjoying huge windfalls from higher oil prices, and decision makers there are thinking strategically when choosing global industries to invest in. Investing now in clean energy allows GCC governments and companies to become first movers and global players in this growing industry. In closing, I'm very pleased to advise that MAP Capital, with its launch of the first and largest funds in the Middle East and Asia, stands well positioned at the crossroads of private equity and clean energy to open the industry's attractive opportunities for investors in the region and globally. Thank you very much.
Khalid, thanks very much. Khalid's speech inspires a topic I'd like to have you vote on here before we break this particular group. It's a conversation I had with His Royal Highness Prince Turki yesterday about the tilt to the east in terms of the investment horizon. So if you can bring out your voting device, I'd like to pose a question to all of you. Will the center of focus for Saudi Arabia be the majority of the investment go east or west over the next 25 years? Will the majority of investment leaving the country, going into different regions in the world, go towards the east or west? If you think it's east, please vote number 1. If you think it's going to be to the west, vote number 2. This is to look at the strategic alliances that are going to be formed in the future. The money coming from Saudi Arabia going into foreign direct investment into other parts of the world would be tilted more to the east, number 1, or tilted more to the west, number 2. Please vote now. So this is quite fascinating. 72% think that the future investment is going to be going to the east, and 23% think it'll be going to the west. And I think this is ultimately, and if I can get, before we excuse him, Khalid Al-Yaya's view on this. This is where the opportunity is. Is this what you think is driving that sort of vote? Khalid, do you want to comment on that?
Well, actually, I agree. I mean, this is a common sentiment, and it's something that can be substantiated by the numbers. There is a growth towards investment in the newly emerging economies in the Far East in all industries. And anyone that you talk to would tell you that this is a trend that seems to be continuing and will not see a reversal in the foreseeable future. Now, I've alluded in my speech to the stable banking system and to the macroeconomic situation that after the 1997 crisis has come about and encouraged these flows to the Far East. So by all means, I agree with the audience sentiment in this regard.
Good. Peter, it would be good to get your thoughts as a international energy company. It's no longer, even though you're from my home state of California, no longer just considered a U.S. energy concern and invested all around the world. Where is Chevron forging its strategic alliances now as it looks for new partnerships to develop energy resources? What are the growth areas for Chevron, do you believe?
Well, I mentioned Saudi Arabia, which has been an important area for Chevron for many, many years, and in fact in the neutral zone is a very important investment of ours where we bring some new technology on steam flooding to Saudi Arabia. Steam flooding is to produce heavy oil. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has a lot of heavy oil. There's a lot of heavy oil in the neutral zone, and we plan to bring this technology there. But the places in the world beyond Saudi Arabia,